Welcome back to yet another dreary cold day in our open air garage. This is episode 3 of the KTM 690 big bore bike build. Christ, get it right. What are we doing today? I was hoping to actually put the engine back together today, but I can't because I've got one missing bearing and it's got to come from Austria. So I can't do it, basically. It's just sitting in a pile inside. So what I'm going to do today is, because I've got to refresh everything, we're fully rebuilding the brakes. The front caliper is on the inside, it's disgusting, and in a previous video I was going at it with like a toothbrush, but this time around I think I'm going to properly clean it. So I'm going to get it in the ultrasonic cleaner, basically going to get all the parts that we can fit into the ultrasonic cleaner today and get them cleaned up. So we're going to get the brakes off, we're going to get the shock properly off, we're going to do all the linkage, we're going to replace all the bearings, all that stuff. Let's get into it. Of course. It's raining, of course it is. Okay, let's get this drained. Right, so now those are off, we can get on to the old shock. They're pretty gross. They could do with a solid deep clean. It's all going to be cleaned up ultrasonically. It's going to be shock linkage. It's disgusting. Gross. Oh yeah, they're done. They are very much done. Pretty grubby. It was a new shock a year and a half ago, so I'm just going to clean it up. It's only taken a month to get to the stage where this is actually free of all of its wires. I'm just going to give it a quick clean and then I'm going to crack on with getting all the other bits and bobs into the ultrasonic and getting them sparkly. Now, I said I wasn't gonna recoat the frame. The paintwork's not too bad, but there's just like, you know, little bits here and there that no one's ever really gonna see, but I'm gonna know. So the question is, I'm at the absolute limit of my budget. I've spent so much over the last 2 days on just random bits that you would not believe how much it costs. Do I to recoat or not, and to what end? I wouldn't change the colour. It'd be a slightly different tone of orange. I don't know. We'll see. So I think the important thing at this stage is that the frame is not damaged from the crash or anything else. There's no cracks, there's nothing like that. So to coat or not to coat, I don't know. Either way, it's not damaged and that is a win. And here we are 5 hours later. Rear brakes off, front brakes off, pistons out. They're pretty disgusting. It's pretty grim. There's all the linkages and stuff for the suspension. I need to get the bearings out of these and my vise is broken. My new one's arriving tomorrow, so today, give this a go. This evening, ready for tomorrow, and I'll do those. I imagine these might need like 2 goes in the ultrasonic cleaner. So the seals are out, there they are. We're nearly up to temperature. Gonna chuck it on for half an hour, see how we get on. They're pretty grim, to be honest. So I think half an hour, maybe an hour. I'll just keep on going, to be honest. See how we get on. Now for the not actually that loud noise. Here we go. You don't think it's that bad until it stops and then you realise it's proper giving you a headache just from being next to it for 5 minutes. Jesus. Let's have a little gander. So that's half an hour. I reckon that could do with at least another half an hour. That's an hour. That is a solid fail, I'd say. Definitely loosened quite a lot of the stuff, but Yeah, and you can see it's gotten quite a lot of crud off. It's pretty bad. So I'm going to give it another hour and see if that helps. It's not terrible, I just want it to be better than that. So I came and had a look after 15 minutes and it's kind of like, and that's with a bit of scraping as well and washing it off. So didn't really want this to turn into this sort of video, but look at this one. That's after a lot of scraping to help it along. I'm going to give it 45 more minutes in this solution. I think my other solution is turning up tomorrow and that one is designed to take off rust and break down carbon and like that. It's going to end up turning into like a comparison which one's the better solution video. So it's been 3 hours for the record. Carburetor ultrasonic cleaning solution by allendale-ultrasonics.co.uk. After 3 hours, that stuff ain't budging. I've had to scrape most of that off with a knife, but it's not generally budging. I'm not going to say it's rubbish because it's done a really good job of generally cleaning it up. They look, you know, passable. So I'm going to empty all this out and clean it out, and I'm just going to do them tomorrow when the other solution arrives, because from what I understand the other solution will eat through that. No worries. We'll see. Another day, another challenge. These are gross. That's after 3 hours in carburetor ultrasonic cleaning solution. I'm going to wait for the other solution. What have I got coming? I think it's C Clean 2. That should be good. But in the meantime, to get ready to clean up all of these, this is the swing arm, linkage and whatnot. Oh dear God, the bearings and stuff are all foobar. So I'm going to get those out. We're going to sonic clean them in the C Clean 2. According to the internet, it's one of, if not possibly the most overlooked service item. So this side, is it this side? They look all right. That side, they're all like full of rust and they're making like a weird donkey squeaking sound when I was bouncing up and down on the suspension. I think it's time. I think it's time to change them. They feel all right. Bit on the old stiff side, but feel all right. I'm gonna change them anyway. Well, I've had a lot of practice. Good old right hand action. Don't know when they were last done. Not by me, if it's supposed to be every 6 months or so. Going to drink. Can you get me some tangerines? Thank you. For some money? Thank you. Spit roast. Have it done. Oh, at least there isn't that, you know, that overwhelming feeling of shame afterwards. Oh, my poor cloth. My shame rag. These two are much better, and they roll still. Burn. Right. There's a fair amount of rust in there. Not enough to make me think it wouldn't work very well. I don't need to worry about which one goes in which. Both holes are goals. These go in here, obviously with seals in it, but I'm thinking, just turn it around. Obviously I need to get it to line up. Pretty sure that's hot. And that is not how you do it. So yeah, heat it up. If you're unsure about how hot it's supposed to be, I think smoking's hot enough, to be honest. Let's see if we can just do it straight up this time. Should be hot enough. Yeah. That was a bit more finessed, I'd say. And yes, I am aware I'm going to have to be a bit more finessed when it comes to building the engine. But I have revised that engine build. I could almost probably do it without the manual at this point. I've been obsessing over how to do it. Anyway, God, look at the state of it in there. Yeah. Hopefully, when all the stuff for the ultrasonic cleaner gets here, these are going to come up trumps. It's probably as good a time as any to point out something. Why am I doing this? Not so much why am I doing it. Well, I guess it is a bit of why am I doing it. I've always been a big believer that if you put your mind to it, you can, within reason, do anything. You can't be anything, let's be honest, if that's something you tell children. I'm not a trained mechanic, I'm not an engineer, I'm just interested. I want to prove that average Joe Public can build a high performance engine in their back garden without a garage, buying the tools as you go. So if this doesn't work, because I think over the next week I'm actually going to start building the engine. If this doesn't work, you'll see why. There's plenty of videos out there that show you that obviously it can be done. But I wanted to see how spiders. Fucking everywhere. It's like they can fly. I want to prove that the average man can build a high performance bike with all the bells and whistles and a lot of time off work because of COVID. It's here. I know that Amazon Prime is an ecological disaster, but being able to order something at 2 in the morning and it be with you that same day, I mean, sometimes that's a massive win. Come now. The carburetor ultrasonic cleaning solution was mediocre. I want to clean these up. I've gotten all the seals out, bearings and stuff out of them. They are gross. Could probably just give them a bloody good scrub. But you know what? This stuff is allegedly gonna do the trick according to other people on YouTube. Right, how much is in there? 4.2 litres. You need 3 caps of this for heavy soiling per 400 millilitres. So that's 10.5 doses, which comes to 315 millilitres. Rather than measuring it out in caps, each cap is 10. Hopefully this stuff works. I'm about to use up most of what I've just ordered. Oh, look, it's blue. Blue. Let's see how it does this time. I'm just going to do these bits, I reckon. Can you see it? Ready? It's working! Just come back in 15 minutes. Bing. My suspicion, my hope, is that this will be pretty good. It's doing it. Yeah, it's coming off. We're looking pretty good so far. The insides look pretty good. Yeah, that's 20 minutes. It does stink a little bit. I reckon another 20 minutes. All right, let's have a look. Proper hums. I mean, all this stuff is good, I reckon. That can come out. I'll give that a rinse. A rinse out. These can go back in. I reckon they need another 20. Well, I'm going to give them another 20 minutes. I reckon at that point they'll be done. Oh, hello. Is all that in there? I'm going to do that as well. Oh, come on. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. You can even see it's like part number and everything. Shame about the toothbrush though. That's a massive win. They can go over there for getting ready for a good rinsing. Right, let's see how we go with these bad boys. That one's not so bad. That one is a violation. I'll start with those two for now. I think it's safe to say it's going to be at least 40 minutes. Let's start with 30. Let's go. That's half an hour. It's probably getting a bit repetitive now. Let's have a look. Getting there. Definitely better than the other one. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and call it another half an hour, I reckon. Right, that's an hour. That one's definitely done. I might come back to it, but for now, time for the big guns. It is getting on for 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's have a little look. Oh, hello. That's interesting. That's really interesting. This is, I think, as good as it's gonna get, to be honest, on that one. I just had the weirdest deja vu. Now, interestingly, these things, which were like beyond covered in rust and corrosion, are now nearly free of all the gack on them. They're still pretty built up. I reckon you're going back in. These have had, I think, like an hour. That's had, not including yesterday's ultrasonic cleaning, this has now had 3.5 hours today. So in total it's had 6.5 hours. The first 3 didn't do. Tomorrow, firing it up. I'm just gonna do some bits and bobs and bolts and stuff, and then I'll show you how all the other bits came out. They are. Anyway, should probably go to bed. See you tomorrow. Oh. Right, it's a week later. I've just spent 2 days. Look at these, are nice and clean. They've been in the ultrasonic. It took 10 hours to get them this shiny. I mean, that was using C Clean too. The carburetor solution didn't do bugger. This had seized. Couldn't get this off. So I spent the last 2 days hammering ish out of it. Yeah, you can kind of see I've had to give it a bit of a clean up with the Dremel. Proper bashed it. It was so rusted. Let me pull it apart now. So this pin was completely coated in like thick with rust. It like expanded with rust. Inside that hole was absolutely gross. Now that's all apart, and plus there's just a few things. You would think that when you order a repair kit for something, it would give you everything that you need. So I ordered the repair kit for the triangle pivot thing for the suspension, and it only gives you half the bearings and seals that you need. You have to order 2 repair kits for, like, why call it a repair kit if it's anyway. Right, let's get this back together. I'm gonna over grease these, I reckon, just because I don't want to go through that again. Literally, I've been hammering at this thing for 2 days, and eventually, and I've been heating it up, hammering it, and nothing. I was almost convinced that there was a ridge at the top that you have to overheat this bit to make it big enough to come off of the ridge. Like I was getting so angry. But a little bit of calm, then I remembered the joys of just chucking something in the oven at 150 degrees centigrade. Half an hour, got it out, and then 20 minutes of hammering the Jesus out of it, and it came off, and it was so rusty. Anyway, let's put it back together. I'm gonna mega grease these things, like super grease. I'm gonna fill the internal diameter with grease, fill the end bit down in there with grease. I'm gonna put a bit of grease in the tip of there. I'm gonna put grease inside of this thing here, and I'm gonna put it all back together, put the seals in. Let's do this! Although I'm not putting it back on the bike today, I'm just getting it prepped so I can put it in the bag so that when the swing arm arrives, I can go with the rolling frame. So I want to get the rolling frame aspect going. Oh my God, just get on with it. Right, I've got an idea, and the idea is, there you go, little grease dispenser. Boom, that's a win. One seal repair kit. So that one's that side, that one's that side. Comes with assembly fluid, which I'm guessing is just brake fluid by the looks of it. I'm just going to get that assembly fluid right into those crevices. Seat one side, hold it with your finger, and be gentle, you don't want to damage it, and just slide it in. Again, just be gentle, pop it down in there. That is dripping with goo. Brill bags! That's pretty straightforward. Let's pop this back on. We'll give it a good old wipe down in a minute. That ain't rusting. No way. All right, one down. Round 2. I'm just gonna pour a load of that in there to start with. I'm just gonna use that as my dipper. So let's just make sure it's all in those crevices. So I'm just pulling it up, getting it in the crevices. Nice. Let's get it all lubed up. I guess this stuff is kind of brake fluid friendly. Let me in. Try and do anything with slippery fingers. Come on. Seated, tuck it in, and hey presto. Seated. Come on, in you go. Don't be afraid. No, it's your first time. You're alright. I'll give them a wipe down, and the job's a good one. Now I can put them away. Right, so that's a win. Ooh, tip. Oh, I don't know, tip of the week, tip of the day. 2 tips for you when it comes to looking after your brake calipers and your brakes generally. Grease the shit out of these, because if they rust, it's hard work. And when it comes to the rear brake, hilariously, although I didn't film it, I pushed the piston all the way in before I took it all apart. And so then I couldn't get the piston out because it's flush. There's no way to grip it, so I had to put it back onto the system, reload the system with brake fluid, and then pump it to get it to come out. I don't have like an air compressor or whatever, so yeah, that was an hour of lost time. Gonna give it a little clean up, and then we'll put them back in the bag. Any day now, the swing arm and stuff should be here, so I can have a rolling chassis, as they call it. But before I can do that, it's all here. What have we got? We're gonna do this one now. What have we got? 22 and a 20. We've got the roller thing and the end bits. Seals and the bearings. They're not the kit. The kit gives you that as well, but these are fine. Glory grease. It's probably a bit much. Right. Nearly. Flat. Well, that has officially knackered my device. All the threads on the thing that this threads into is completely worn off. Pile of rubbish. No surprise that the people that sent it to me twice a day have been going, please leave a 5-star review. Just because they know that in about 4 days' time when you actually use it, it's not going to work. And then there'll be no coming back. I'm glad I didn't leave it the 5-star review. I even told them to start messaging me, not leaving a review until I've used it for a bit. Because that's exactly the same thing that happened to the last one. The threads went because it was cheap. I guess on the more expensive ones, they don't fail. Regardless, I gotta get it done. Let's get that in there. Perfect. So yeah, 30 quid vice. Good enough to put in a few bearings, then it's done. Rubbish. Right, so I'm going to have to do this the hammer way, because the vice is fine. So, this way up. Okay, that seems to work. It's not all a dead loss. Need it to sit in there a little bit. Yeah, it's not ideal, but just got to hammer it in. Nice and soft and gentle, so I don't damage the linkage. That is in. So all I've got to do now is whack a bit of this in, but it does look like old mouldy jizz. It's nicely in there. Just make sure that gap is nice and filled in. Underneath that seal. Yeah, that is greased up. Take the old roller. Push that through. Then cap on. We have triangle linkage. It's never as easy as it's supposed to be. So, you've got your manual, you've got YouTube videos, you've got all these things, and like, no matter how many times you watch them, when it comes to doing it yourself, it never goes the way you actually want it to go. Like, there's always, the bit in the video is slightly different to the one that you've got, or there's a broken vise, or you don't have the right tool and you're an idiot and you try and do it with a different tool and you break something, you've got to reorder it or whatever. But just, that's kind of one of the reasons that I'm doing this series. It's because I always find that it never goes to plan. There's always something that goes wrong, and you've got to figure it out, and you've got to fix it, and you've got to learn a little bit of something, and it never goes like it does in the videos. And people always show you like, oh look, it's just really easy. You get this bit, and you get this bit, and you just do this, and you do it up, and hey presto, it's done. No, it's like 3 days of ordered the wrong parts, or 2 weeks in my case of didn't have enough parts to complete the rebuild, and just... Anyway, that's got to be it for episode 3. In the next one, what we're going to do, well, I've contacted the Cerakote people. The swing arm and all the bits are going to be here by day after tomorrow, which means that I can do rolling frame, I can get the wheels up, I can get everything put together, and then I can focus on just dealing with the engine and all the electrics, and we can start looking like we're going to start putting it all back together. It's going to be mega. See you in the next one. Like and subscribe if you like the idiocy. Who knows? Thanks.